These are the notes on polynomials. This is classification by degree. There will be two charts that you're going to get down on your graph paper, and we're not going to copy everything down here. So they give you an example, the degree number, and the degree name. So remember, f of x is the same thing as y equals. So this is the same as if it was y equals. So a constant is a degree of 0, and it's just a number. We mentioned this in class. So 9, 12, -3, it's just a constant. It's a number that's not going to change. A linear would be a degree of 1, and you would have an example would be -2/3 x plus 7. So the degree of 1, if you look at this exponent, the variable x, the exponent would be 1. But we don't write the 1, so it's just a degree of 1. The next example is a quadratic. This is an example of a quadratic, -4x squared. It has an exponent of 2, and therefore it's a quadratic. The degree number is 2. The one after that is a cubic. Again, looking at that example, it has an exponent of 3, x to the third. You take the highest exponent value. Quartic means it has an exponent of 4. And then after that, we just start to call them 5th degree, 6th degree, 7th degree. And you can see it's all based on the exponent. So the exponent tells you the degree number. So we are going to have to know this chart, and what we're really going to mostly focus on will be these right here. So now we have classification by the number of terms. So this is the other way that we're going to call our polynomials. So right here, we have one term. So it's a monomial. Here we have two terms. X to the 7th is one term, and 7x is another term. Two terms, binomial. Here we have three terms. -4x to the 7th is one term. X cubed is another term. -2x is the third term. That's a trinomial. After that, they're just polynomials. If you have 4 terms, 5 terms, 6 terms, they're all polynomials. So take a look at these examples. Do you notice a pattern with this example and the number of terms, this example and the number of terms? Is there anything you notice? Hopefully, what you might have noticed is that you're looking at the plus and the minus signs. There's 1 plus, 1 minus. There's 2 operations here, which makes it 3 terms. There's 1 operation here, makes it 2 terms. There's 3 operations here, 4 terms. There are no operations in x to the 7th, which makes it 1 term. Now lastly, you might be asked to classify by degree and term. So here's where you're going to give it a name, a first and a last name. This is a little bit tricky because here, this is a monomial. It's one term. There's no plus or minus signs. It has variables, but it's the product, x squared y. So we know it's a monomial. But we have some exponents. We have a 2, and then we have the mystery 1. Is this a second degree, which would make it a quadratic because of the 2? Or is it something else? So here's what happens when you have a monomial with more than one variable, we have to add them. So we actually have to take the 2 from the x and the 1 from the y, and we have to add it together, and we have a 3, which now makes this a cubic monomial. Now this is going to be different from this problem. As soon as you have 4x squared plus y, we have the plus sign. This is now turning it into a binomial because there are 2 terms. And then you're going to look at the largest exponent, and it's a 2, which makes it a quadratic binomial. So be very careful when you have problems that have a plus or minus, or problems that don't, and it's just a product. You're going to have to do some extra math.